So we saw my beautiful results. Now it's time to see Jim's. Jim is actually a CrossFitter himself. He works out with us at San Francisco CrossFit, and you've been doing it for how long?
Just over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
Yeah.
But before that, he's done some pretty amazing things, like walk how far? From where to where?
So, I've always kind of been outdoorsy. I was raised outdoors, so I walked from Mexico to Canada in 1999, 2,700 miles.
And you did that solo?
Did it solo, it was a funny story. So, about mile 400, I was sitting there one day, and I was a traditionalist carrying a 44-pound pack with, you'd figure, about 2 pounds of food per day. I was right in the middle of the Mojave Desert, and I was miserable, and joints hurt, and I was looking around the end of the day, and I said, why am I carrying all this stuff? I started counting what I hadn't used. 2/3 hadn't used. Got to the next town. I had a box I'd mail ahead to myself, and took out a lighter pack, went down to a pair of tennis shoes, dumped all my gear, just had a light pack, 15 pounds of gear. I slept on the ground on a blanket and had a tarp if it rained. One change of clothes, a knife, couple first aid.
You always need a knife just in case you get attacked.
And I went like that, and all of a sudden my trail mileage went way up. My joints stopped hurting, and I basically felt like this lean, kind of feral animal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I've seen a couple of pictures from when you did the trek. It was pretty amazing to see the difference in size and how you looked, and it's just amazing. So, anyways, besides him being a superstar athlete, he's also a little bit of a genius here and has all these things going on. So, Jim, of course, he's been tested several times, and the difference between his test and my test is that he has this trend, and the trend basically just shows you what's happened. So explain a little bit what's going on here, Jim.
Yeah, so, it's interesting. You could come in, and let's say I just got my physical every 3 years, and I, like most Americans, say, you know what, this doesn't really add much to my life, but I guess I kind of have to do it. So let's say I walk in, I have a 207 cholesterol, and I kind of go, wow, that's yellow. I'm a little bit on the cusp of being green, but I have no context. However, if I know that where I've been and where I'm going is what's important, e.g. the trend is your friend, that's right. The most important thing you can discover is what direction is your soccer ball going. So here the 207 actually has huge relevance because I knew at this point, and by the way, I'm customer number one. I built this for myself because I just was so dissatisfied with quantified health and prevention. So seeing this, 221, 207, 200, 182. So I'll tell you a really interesting story. I did all this with nutrition. It turns out I genetically don't process B vitamins very efficiently. And this is kind of seen as being the same pathway as lipids. So my nutritionist said, you need to get your total number of activated B complex up, folic acid, fish oil, a couple other things. And I did all this with nutrition. Got it down.
So that trend is only nutrition?
Only nutrition. And I've always had a clean kind of paleo diet. I work out like crazy. So at a certain extent, you hit your kind of natural capacity to improve yourself internally. And you got to figure out, all right, what areas am I out of balance? So a bunch of micro tweaking goes on.
So you're saying that you physically, at 221, were doing the same thing that you were doing at 182. And the only thing that changed was your food.
Just tailor the last 3% kind of supplementation and really fine adjustment. It's like an extra 7 minutes a day, really.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
So, and here though, I'm not too excited about that. But what's interesting, you'll notice on all of these, last summer I got down to almost all green on everything, right? Mm-hmm. And I kept my HDL actually went up. So this HDL is protective, right? And then I get to my fractions, and 784. So now you're asking, why is this guy all red right now?
Right. So
I actually got into it with a couple doctors who were saying nutrition is crap, and you should be on drugs.
Wait. The doctor said that nutrition is crap. You should be on drugs.
Yeah, I interact with a lot of people. And by the way, I think you need a full set of voices in looking at your profile and talking with you, and that includes Western medicine. There's a lot of great things about it, but they get 1 course hour of nutrition, 1 course hour of genetics in med school. So maybe there's some things they're not as well suited to advise you on. So you need multiple voices anytime you're talking about health.
I would agree.
Point of observation there. So I went, all right, fair enough. I went off of everything as of August.
So you took everything that you were doing away. You said, okay.
Not doing anything.
Not doing anything.
Nope. Going to revert back to being a 50-year-old guy who's kind of active.
Okay.
So, and because here's the other thing. You turn over your blood cells about every 90 days. So any intervention you do, you'll see it reflected in your biomarkers pretty quickly.
Right.
Right? So I know it's not going to kill me, right?
Right.
So you can kind of see this.
Can you see this?
Let's just go through them. Boom.
Red. Red. You're starting to look like me. Red. Green.
Uh-huh. But I doubled in the bad way. I'm right on the cusp of being right. So
that's
again,
amazing.
trend. If I, for example, this one, if I, just conventional medicine, they say, oh, you're still green, no big deal.
Right. And then as soon as you hit 20, you're already in the moderate. So you're getting close quickly.
Pay attention to those trends.
I mean, within a year, you can be severely ill.
This one, this is key building block for bad cholesterol, ApoB. Man, I almost doubled.
Wow, that's incredible.
4
You're
months.
even higher than what you were when you started.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had this huge rebound effect.
Did the doctor see this yet?
I've showed a bunch of them. And
what did they say?
Well, I'm a single data point.
That's right. Jim, you have no clue what you're talking about.
Right. So I just had a set of in fact, we're going to get drawn today.
Yeah. You're getting drawn too?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
We're all getting drawn. It's a draw party.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
So time to see how the biology's reacting.
Right. That's awesome. So now you've gone back on everything that you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're physically active and you're training hard.
Yeah.
And we're going to see what happens. So how long does it take to get the results? 2 weeks?
Oh, no, not even that.
Not even that.
5 to 7 days after you get drawn, you'll get this message that says, hey, Carl, time for your consult. Results are in. We have a direct data feed from the lab, so we pull it out of the database. Pops up in your account. No paper chase. You can access via any type of screen, whether it's your cell phone, your iPad, or computer screen.
Yeah, I use the app. Mm-hmm. I like the iPhone app is the best for me.
And your consults are basically... you don't go see anybody. It is, we're all busy people.
Yeah.
It's a voice in your ear looking at your data.
So for people that want to do this right now, where do they go? How do they get started? I know there's certain CrossFit gyms that have done it a little bit, and you guys did a little Kickstarter with them. But for people that are out there, if my parents are on the East Coast and they want to get this thing done, what is the best way to go about it? If they are doing CrossFit at a certain gym, do they need to have a certain group? Is there a critical mass that we have to reach, or can people come in as individuals?
Well, so if it's a great question. So if we have a gym that signs up with us and says, hey, we have a group that wants to do this, it becomes actually a really interesting community event, because just like CrossFitters like to trade their Fran times, after a while, you believe it or not, you'll have 7-year-old grandmothers talking about their, I just deadlifted 205, which I know a woman who in Central Oregon CrossFit who's 70 who did that, and can talk about her ApoB.
Right.
So
right.
It's actually a great venue. However, that's not convenient for most people, or you could just be an individual. So you can also just walk into a LabCorp after signing up. You'll have a barcode. You show the barcode, and you get drawn and have the same experience.
Totally. And, for example, I have a lot of friends that are on the national team for gymnastics in Spain. I want them to also get tested. Can they do it outside of the country yet? Is that something that's possible to do yet?
We're not. There's, in any given jurisdiction, including state by state, there's a host of regulations that we have to analyze first to see if we can go into that market. So we're just getting our feet wet in all the different jurisdictions in North America. But we ultimately think that, world domination.
World domination, here it comes. But I think it's coming, and it's something that people should know about. I think just looking at this stuff and being able to see it, I think it should spark some curiosity, because it's a three-part way where there's a lot of psychology that goes into training. There's a lot of the physical that goes into training. The physical is what we see, what we kind of hold on to. But I think the physiology that's inside, we really don't take care of it, because it doesn't seem relevant until we're in the hospital. So,
well, you have no context. You can't see it. You don't see your trends, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's a whole host of reasons. But again, paying attention to it now is the best investment you'll make. And it was interesting. I just read Rob Wolf's book this weekend.
Oh, really? This weekend? Okay.
Yeah, and he's a complete quantified selfer. And
correct.
He has numbers, biomarkers that he wants checked, and he's really uses a framework of a blood panel to guide actions.
Nice. I'm guilty of being a disaster. I don't go very much based on numbers or anything like that, but I like to see the colors. So I work with colors. I'm like, okay, I'm red, well, I'm yellow, I'm green. I like that. So if you're not an engineer and you don't go with numbers like I do, at least you can see your trends. And the trends, I think, will help you make better decisions. And, this is so user-friendly that I think it works for everyone. And you guys are doing an amazing job. So thanks for having me.
You bet.
Awesome. Gymnastics, Wad.